beloved Ascension pioneers, and welcome to this video on sacred devotional partnership and the essence of our twin soul. As you know, I've made many videos on this topic. In this video today, I really wish to synthesize everything because I'm so excited in this video. I hope you can feel that my excitement is traveling to you, because today and for this past week I've been really feeling into this essence of that higher truth on devotional partnership. And after seeing this video on a young couple doing their own twin flame story, I've been really going deeper, and recently there have been so much sharing on this topic, and I see still online this is probably what most people talk about. It's this where our main interest lies somehow, and this is because in truth everything, all of the universe is always in partnership. So I really wanted to bring greater depth, because everything I've been going through, and maybe sometimes I've seen on the outside and what other people are sharing on this, it's like there's partial truths within everything they share, but there's no such thing as a creation truth as what I try to always present to you from spirit, and something that we can understand only when we are one, we are in unity with these creation principles. So in this video I really will get you into some deepest insights that I have about this, and to synthesize everything I've been sharing so far, and some of the things maybe they were shared before but not to that level, so they can really be understood properly. So after seeing that video, actually after seeing many things, it's not always I just watch videos, it's just something pops up and I see it doesn't find the true space of resonance. And when I say that, this means that it's not really feeling right to the highest degree, that it really is within truth, meaning that it serves creation principles which come from the law of grace, the law of unity. And so always I like to receive that from my own spirit, and I've been asking, after seeing these two people talking about their own experience, I've been asking, okay, can I get deeper insights, because I feel there's still so much confusion and I wish to bring that to the collective. And what spirit shared with me then after was that some of us, and this is not many beings, there's just a few beings here on the planet that hold the beloved frequency, means that they act as a gateway so that the souls who are truly twin souls can come together. But even their twin soul connection will come in various degrees of awareness. So this is what I'm going to present in this video on different levels of partnership. And what do they mean, and how do we actually exist within those levels? And yet even within that, because when we hear the word level, sometimes it can feel very structured, and people still fear the word level because to them it represents separation. But once we get in our mastery closer to the deeper understanding of what levels mean, which is more of a divine hierarchy, and I've been talking about this and writing in my articles on my page Ascension Pioneers, is we will have a deep understanding of what levels mean, because levels are nothing bad. It's our perception of what levels should mean as in linear and in terms of duality, good, bad, more or less. Then we will have a proper understanding of that means, and we will see that our relationships will begin to evolve through that. So after seeing this, I've been asking those questions, and today I was overwhelmed by this shower of epiphanies. It's almost like it's so simple. My beloved, it is so simple. The truth of your own beloved nature, it is so simple. And that's why I was guided. It was in the past few years, maybe 2 years, that I was creating my beloved paintings, which show the cosmic journey of the beloveds and how we travel through those different levels of our soul evolution, and where you are in your soul evolution, that's the level you usually will kind of come into embodiment. Not always necessarily, because sometimes souls, as they come into incarnation embodiment, they don't choose that path and they rather exit, but still they remain there, and they are being driven and taken in that direction through their soul. So everything is based on the guidance of our soul. So to truly understand what I'm going to present to you today, it takes a lot of reverence for understanding the hierarchy of creation. As you know, when we hear the word levels, again, we can feel that separation, which says, oh, so you're at a higher level than I am. It's not about that. When we understand the nature of as above, so below, we know that as it is in the heavens, so it is here on earth. We don't always see that because we think, we think with our human eyes and we feel with our human brains instead of just feeling into it with our creation core. So when you understand the basic primary trinity of creation, which is source, the law of one, the one that creates the two, creates the polarization, creating the third energy. So from one you get the trinity, And when you have the tree, which is already a triangle, that already represents this sort of pyramidal hierarchy. And then from that, you start to get even wider and wider. So if you imagine a sacred breath of Holy Spirit, you draw a breath coming out of a being or an angel, if they're singing songs of creation, you see from the narrowest bandwidth, you come and it expands out. This is how it is. It's hierarchy already. It always goes from the narrowest point of unity out into the vastness of creation. And so it is the same with all partnerships, and we're going to be moving into that deeper. But first, I wish to present this template so that you know when I talk about levels, they're not about higher, lower in sense of meaning less or more. It's just a degree of your expansion in creation, so how much mastery you've gained overall. It's a cosmic kind of perception, not just here on Earth. But of course, when you're on Earth, you are tuning into your cosmic awareness, so that's what you're going to be embodying. That's what it is, as above, so below. So we have what we call mass consciousness. We said that's most people, and these are usually here at the widest part of the pyramid, if you call it a pyramid or a triangle. So this is where most people are at, and this is usually where the first base of these relationship templates begins. And it gets narrower and narrower. And this is what I'm going to present to you here, and it doesn't mean that it's more or more worthy or more divine. It's just, it has a different space, has a different belonging in the whole structure of complexity of divine creation. In truth, it's simple and yet it's complex. So this is how we truly understand it in our master self-awareness. So when we begin to understand that everything always functions by the main principles of creation, we will see it's always the same. So when we say most people have these relationships, what does that mean? And then we say, okay, most people have, maybe a few have like that, and very few have it like this. And then the top of the top, which is like so rare, is, this. And what does this mean? I wish to present to you in this video and to synthesize everything I've been already sharing. So today, after seeing that video, I asked Spirit, I said, look, what does it mean? Because so many people are still confused with the label twin flame, and they don't know what it means. So Spirit said, there can come so instantly, so quickly, this feeling of separation and feeling of being less worthy or not having it your way when you say, okay, these two beings are saying they're twin flames, so they have their own story to share. So why am I not experiencing this? And I know there's a lot of people asking themselves this question. And it's because we don't have clarity within the higher understanding. That's why we don't have that peace, that tranquility, that serenity that comes from understanding. So I've said, look, when we have that understanding, and this is what we all crave for, we crave for understanding. We don't crave for physical things, we crave for that higher vision so we can have and be at peace in our lives. So we know what we have chosen on the soul level, and it always is this way. We always follow up in our physicality what we're choosing on a soul level. So this is the first thing. So Spirit said it is not in partnerships, and I'm going to talk about the sacred devotional partnership. It's not about whether two beings are twin soul or not, because even, when we expand it out, when we burst it out of creation, we're these unique beings coming like this first sense of polarization. We come into beingness from the cosmic womb. And when these souls expanded and they were gaining wisdom, even they hold different levels, again, levels of awareness. So when two beings, let's say they meet and they say they feel their twin soul, and that is, in some cases, it's the truth, in some cases it's not, and they're projecting the desire to be a twin soul coupling, and they're not. They're maybe feeling the nature of relationship is expanding to that level, but they're not really from their prime core womb partnership. When there's two wholes, not two halves, this is very important to understand. So it's very important to know that when you are choosing in your path, when your path is being presented to you, and that's the first thing, is everything always comes from you, from your relationship, which is basically just beingness with Spirit, always aligning with yourself. And this means that everything is about you. It's what you're choosing, it's what you're creating. And there's nothing externally, there's nothing external. So, when people teach these laws of manifestation, really visualize, really feel into it. It's almost like otherwise it wouldn't come true. So today, Spirit showed me that it's not about, let's say you see two beings and you say, why do they have it and I can't manifest this? Is something wrong with me? So I'm not manifesting what these people are saying, they're twin souls, but they're not even needing to do anything for it. It just happened for them. So why is it not happening for me? And that's why people go out and they search and they have these piles of information coming at them. And like I said, people have partial truths for this, but they don't have, the truth that is the creation truth that you can really set yourself free only through truth, and when you have partial truths, it's okay. It's like your awareness is climbing, it's trying to remember who you really are, but only when you really know, you have that ease, you have that understanding of why you're here, why your purpose is unfolding in this way, and why not otherwise. And this is in most cases, that's the issue. It's because people are wanting to be somewhere, or wanting to have a certain relationship, and they're not having it. They feel separate, they feel like they're not being given something, and they feel they have to deserve this partner. They feel like, we sometimes feel in general that we have to deserve something, so it must be something ethereal or so special, or it's almost like so unreachable, and this is what we feel. And the first thing we need to know here is, it's not about, what Spirit said, it's not about whether you're a twin soul or not. It's about the level of awareness and the physical embodiment that you're choosing to utilize, to express, and to serve through. And this is when we're going to come next to these 4 types. And again, they're not structured, they're not linear, but it's just how it happens on our choosing and our physicality that we're experiencing. And we are meant to experience love in human form, all of us, but the level of the love travels through the level of light. So as much awareness we'll have on that level, we will experience. And it's not about whether, if one twin soul coupling meets, this must mean that, okay, for them, what did they do? And what special thing do they have within, so they manage to manifest this, and you would maybe not feel that. So what's wrong with you? And people might be then, because of that, searching on the outside, and that's what's happening, and you're getting all these questions from people who are confused on this topic. And when we are searching from the outside, the answers won't come. It's good to pose questions because they will bring you clarity. You will receive divine guidance, but it's not always from what you expect to come into contact with. So when you really surrender, the first thing is to have the knowing that it's not about, where you are, how worthy you are, if you are with the twin soul or not. It's not about that. It's about the level of awareness that you're choosing to embody. So sometimes there might be these couplings, but they're choosing a level, let's say they're not choosing the highest level of what they're choosing, and I'm going to share this with you. But the main thing here to understand is that in manifestation, in anything, when we're trying so hard to manifest everywhere, and especially with partnerships, please God, give me that special partner, or, people are doing all kinds of spells and techniques or whatever it is. And we have forgotten about this most simple nature, is that our soul has chosen, we have chosen prior to coming here. And all that we're doing is actually going with the flow of that divinity, which is our soul spark, and then moving towards the path that is right for us. And sometimes certain things are not happening. It's not because we're not worthy of them. It's because we're not doing anything special, or maybe we're supposed to do something special, or we're not at a certain level of awareness or something, and our mind makes these stories up because it doesn't have true understanding. The mind creates these stories from half-truths. This is why I say half-truths are not feeding your soul, they're feeding your mind, which then creates these gaps. It fills them with their own stories, so it can try to compensate for those blank spots, but it can't. It can't compensate, because the truth is what it is. So it's not about that. It's about what you've chosen, and then the willingness to move with that flow of living those choices. And the first thing to know is, it is about you. You are, all that you are to do is just be yourself. Just recently, my mother has been reading this book about a woman who had cancer, and then she, in coma, she had all these experiences from the other realms. She knew everything, and when she came back, she didn't have cancer anymore. Everything receded back. And she just saw life differently, and she saw how everything is intertwined. She doesn't have to do anything but just be her true self. And most people are not being their true self, or they feel that they have to do some sort of manifestation work or technique or whatever it is to better be themselves. When in truth, you already are yourself. We're just not living it because we have these half-truths within us and these implants that are very mental. And we live according to them, and then we're saying, why is this not happening for us? Because we're not aligning with it, but we already are it. So the first thing to know is to really feel in your heart what you have chosen. And I'm going to talk about these 4 different types in terms of, it's already this way, and your path, it's just path of least resistance, this flow of embracing your path. And when you do, you have trust, you have knowing. The inner knowing is the part of you that knows this is happening for you. because you have a knowing that's so deep no one can take away from you, and you're just following that guidance of that knowing. Which means that you don't have to try hard to attain that, to get there. It's the trying part that actually creates control, and through the control we cannot live what we're already choosing for ourselves. So a lot of times we're trying to create something and it doesn't happen, and we feel it's because we're not doing enough. It's actually vice versa. It's because we're doing too much instead of just being our true selves and allowing the universal love that flows through us to do the magic, to let the magic unfold. But a lot of times we're wanting something because we're not yet in the understanding of what we have chosen on the soul level. And for that, we need to first connect with our higher self, which has these knowings for us. It's the path we're choosing. So now let's get to the second part, which is about these different parts. Okay, so when we get to this understanding of divine hierarchy, and we know that even in the heavens, we call them like that, it's these ethereal parts are doing their own tasks. It's all about order, divine order that needs certain levels to function the way they do. And on earth, it's the same way. So when you look at partnerships, we need to know that these sacred partnerships that are unfolding right now, they each have a specific role they have chosen before. They each have a specific plan, and it's not happening the same way for everybody. So when people share their own twin flame stories, whatever they are, they're sharing them only how it is and how it was for them. So it can inspire you to know, okay, you know, there's beings out there living the way authentically for themselves. Doesn't mean it will happen certain things the same way for you. And if there's a part of you that says, if I don't have this, either I'm doing something wrong, I'm not worthy of it, or, you know, I'm in the wrong universe. So anyway, to leave humor at the side, I want to really give this presentation to you because it's very important to have the understanding, and you can see the broader picture of how it is right now on our planet, but just beyond as well. So when you look at this bottom part of the triangle, let's focus on this being parts of the triangle. You have most people and what they're choosing. So these first level relations are usually based on dependency on themselves. So people who live partnership in order to just experience life on earth. It's very three-dimensional. The impulses within the relationship and how we usually interact mostly are governed by, are these primal instincts. A lot of times the actions are reactive instead of responsive. So there's just that mundane feeling to it. So when people come together just for the mere act of experience life on this planet together, and they're not even sometimes awakened, they're not aware. So these basic relations are just, sometimes we call them the sleepers, or in these relationships, they don't even, it's almost like they live parallel lives. They live with each other, but they're not really present with each other. So this would usually be this first type, and most people are choosing still that level. So the second level of these relations is transitory, transitional relationships. Sometimes people call this karmic, but I don't use the word karma because in the New Age it gained rather a negative connotation to it. In truth, karma, I like to really use the word, like I've said, it's more like transitioning, because karma just means that there's something you're choosing in order to get from one level of your soul experience to the next level. So these karmic experiences happen to awaken you, to burst something out of you so you can move to the next level. And these relationships are usually to move you to the next level. These beings that come together, they have a feeling they knew each other from before. There's something deep that's binding them together, and we call this karmic. It's almost like can live with, can live without, and there's these interactions often happening, and the level of relationships and how they respond between each other is usually through lots of emotion. There's lots of emotion coming up because there's a lot of cleansing coming through those karmic bonds and awakening relationships. So I call them transitional, because your soul is moving from one stage of its experiencing to the other stage of experiencing. So a lot of people are there. A lot of people are experiencing these so-called karmic connections, and they feel like maybe in the beginning very fated, or just something you can't not pulled to that person. And people say, we need to clear past karma. It's not really about that. It's just seeing the awakening that's there for you and the other person. Sometimes these couples even have a possibility of still moving together in their soul experience and staying together if both move along. Sometimes it's just one, and this is what happens in most cases. But karmic doesn't necessarily mean it won't awaken you and move you together further. A lot of people had their share of these karmic entanglements, and they moved in transition together, which is beautiful. And these transition relationships then can move to the next stage of soul-based relationships. And yes, it's very emotional. Lots of these emotions can be triggered within, because there's lots of cleaning, clearing coming through those second type. So the third type is soul partnership. It's soul-based relationships, which are usually harmonic. They're here to feed your soul, to help each other with the healing process. And the level of their guidance, of their correspondence, comes through feeling. So this is when intuition starts to be more, and telepathy and all that starts to be shared. So you're more functioning on those levels of connection. And they can be very harmonious. Sometimes also there can be challenges, but how you'll move through them will be more harmonious. You won't have anger towards them or these unprocessed feelings or emotions, because it's feeling based. You know the person, whatever you're going through, even if it's sometimes a soul lesson, because the soul partnership is meant to expand you. It's based to have soul expansion. But still, these relationships, when they are serving, they serve still mostly, they live their lives. And the service is based mostly for them, and of course we're all in divine service in a way, but that service comes through serving your soul, to be in the highest alignment with your soul, to be your authentic self. And that's why soul partnership comes, and it feels easy and harmonious for many people. That's what they say, wow, your soulmate can feel so harmonious and blissful and expanding. And again, I wish to say that every relationship we're having, it's a mirror, it's a reflection of where we are in our awareness. And what I talk about here is what we're choosing. I'm not talking about every person coming your way, because sometimes on a certain path it's a bit different. People come your way also to trigger you, to trigger more of your next path unfolding. So then the last stage is very rare. It's so rare because it's not just based on your soul expansion and achieving your highest soul evolution, but when there's a level of soul maturity and then these beings come together, they serve for the greater good. So as I said, everybody serves. Even soul partnerships are in service through just living their selves. But in fourth type is what I would call devotional partnership, is you also serve together. You work to be the purest channel of spirit. Together you are almost like you came here to be spirit incarnate, is to be the purity on all levels and to serve spirit through the highest will. And what I mean by this is not that these are chosen and special. It's just that they are beings who function on the level, and when they come, this is what they will also experience in the physical. A lot of times, because these connections are so rare and they're wider. Remember, it's almost like, how to explain this, but we had this triangle. There's very few of them, but because they're here on top, how much they see from this vantage point. Imagine when you get to the top of the mountain, you see a whole view. It's like goes round and round, 360 degrees. So with these partnerships, sacred devotional partnership that serves spirit, not just the soul, but the spirit aspect, which is your monadic presence, it's the group over soul. It's something greater than just your own soul. And these are rare, and I call them avatar relations. And here even the word relation kind of falls away, because these are actually one being. They create one being. They create this harmonic convergence, this symphony between them. It's almost like they're one song, they're one being. It's like they unify so much, and they serve spirit through what they are in creation, and serving the greater truth with a capital T. Not just their personal truth and how they live their lives, but it's something that they came here to be devotional beings. And we had many examples. Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Lady Nada, same thing. Then we have Radha Krishna, we have Shiva Parvati, we have, Saint Germain and his twin counterpart, and all these that we see as, we call them twin counterparts. It means the complete polarization, opposite of you, but in total harmonic, unified whole. So these are rare, again, I said, because of the top of the triangle. But because of this, because it's like seeing the world from the spirit vantage point. And remember, spirit is It's all life. It's all there is. Everything in life is spirit. So the level of communication and guidance in these 4 type of relations, if I can even call them relations, in unifications, is knowingness. So in soul you have more feelings and intuition. On this level there's just pure knowingness. It's like pure spirit. But it doesn't mean that you're just vertical, you're also horizontal, but your main receptivity comes through knowingness, and you're devoted to this highest truth and serving that truth. And as I've said, these are very rare examples, and we will feel them because our pull will go to that direction. On your path, as you'll be expanding and broadening, you will feel that you are making choices all the time. So in the end, I'm going to give you some of my own experiences too, because I like to make it intimate and personal too. It feels like you always have choice. And when you have this feeling in your heart that no, in this lifetime I'm going to experience this, you just know it with your wholehearted being. It's what you're being guided towards. And if there's something in between that's just like a cycle of expansion or something to get you as a step on your stairway to that heaven, which is, what you're choosing. Everything for us is heaven, is what we're choosing on a soul level, is you will, on these passageways, always be guided to make a choice. So you could choose something. Let's say you could choose a soul partnership. It could be great. You could have a great family together. You could really be in harmony with this being. You can create many things for yourselves. But if you feel that's not enough, and you feel this is not where I'm stopping, it's like there will be this restless feeling within you moving you forward. And you might be guided to say to this being, look, I really love you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're great, but I feel there's something more. Because with the certain beings, we can't create on that level. Because 2 beings need to embody that same awareness, right? So when we talk about twin aspect, is the mirror a position of you. Okay, so this is something else I need to add here, because sometimes there can be confusion on this aspect as well. So as you know, twins, as they evolve, they also have their own levels of awareness as they are expanding their own creator potential, right, in all of the existence. So in this point, it's really important to add that when you meet your counterpart, it's still the mirror level of, let's call it a twin soul relationship, meeting your bubble of love twin counterpart, your same soul. It still doesn't mean now you will have with that being devotional relationship. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's not one and the same thing, because even twins are serving different purposes. We need that. We need that diversity. But it's important. That's what I constantly share with you guys, is to find what you have chosen and to trust it so fully, because nobody can tell you what you've chosen but you. I've had many beings, trying to tell me this and that, and they're like there with courtship and offering you things, but you feel that's not what you're choosing. You feel it's not enough. Not in a sense that people are not good enough for you. That doesn't exist. We're all good, we're all great. It's just whether we have come together for a reason that is our reason, that is who we've chosen to be. And for me personally, I know that I've chosen the last 4th level. And if I don't feel that as a mirror reflection on the outside, I choose to be alone and honor that space of that blossoming one day into that creative potential of being in a spirit-serving relation. Unity, I call it unification. So that point I wanted to add also is because a lot of people have been mistakenly feeling that I've been telling them, because I've said that in true spirit recognition of your twin self is there is always gender in creation, not the way we know it, but there is this gender, the perfection of gender. And it's because all creation, it cannot exist if there is not a polarization. And I teach this in my mastery course, and especially in my mastery course on twin soul and mastering polarity. That's the last 7 course. So if you're interested in that, I want to deepen this knowing I'm sharing here, go take the course. It's really fabulous. It's going to lift you out of that confusion for sure. So when people say, okay, they feel mistaken, they mistaken my words for what they interpret with their mind. But I've had a lot of people saying, oh, you're saying that gay people don't have their twin soul. I said, no, I never said that. I simply said that you can be in a relationship that you are with the same gender, you're with the same sex, and you're drawn to them and you feel that honoring. But usually when that is the case, you're not within, let's call it the 4th level, the last level of serving spirit, because in that level, in that Christ, that's actually the Christed level. on that level, there will be that gender. And that gender will be as above, so below. Feminine, masculine, that is why we see pictures of masters, like I've said before. Feminine, masculine. Doesn't mean now that if you are in this lifetime, you're choosing to be gay, or you're choosing to be with the same gender, that you don't deserve love, that you don't have it, that you're not, because you don't have, you are a twin soul. Everybody is. Because it's how the truth of creation functions. We are these bubbles of love bursting out of creation, and it's all of life is constantly in partnership with itself. And it's just that you still, if you are within that, you're usually mostly able to be on that soul partnership level, because you go higher, that level is perfection of understanding gender, and from the ethereal form, from your master form, also in coming into your physical form. That never means that because you are choosing to be with the same gender now, you are not a twin soul. I never ever said that. So people sometimes fill in the gaps of their own non-understanding with what I'm saying, and they make it one and the same, but it's not. The only thing that I'm really trying to put into your heart in this video, and I'm really excited about it, is to find and always trust your own soul's choosing. And what you're choosing is perfect for you. Nobody else has, an answer for you exactly. They have clues. Everybody has these partial truths. It's almost like my truth of my choosing, which is that serving something greater. And it's always been with me, even when I was a little girl. This feeling never goes away. It's just who you are. You cannot escape that. Maybe sometimes you say, oh, it's too much responsibility, or it's too heavy, I don't want this. But you cannot not choose it. It chooses you. It's what you've already chosen. So the ego sometimes is conflicting within that. So I'm saying don't be within an opposition to yourself. Be in unification with yourself. This is how this begins. And then when something comes to you, don't question it, don't doubt it. Sometimes you will be okay with a certain relationship being in a certain way. And sometimes you will feel you want to move forward. This is not where you end. Trust those feelings. Trust your voice without the need to get all these answers about what twin flames are in the spiritual communities or the New Age movement, because everybody will have truths that are conflicting. Partial truths are always conflicting, and they will get you confused when you have those vulnerable moments when you feel, is it this way or this way? And let's say you go see a video, you read something, and it's only going to bring you more confusion than is that truth or not. Truth sets you free. It makes you feel complete peace and serenity. Like today, when I had these coming together of all of that, then I knew this complete peace. I was overwhelmed by that peace, and the only thing I wanted to do is serve that forward. This is that, not just having it for your own soul expansion, but serving, because I serve spirit, and spirit gives me these things, and it says share this and that. It's what I do. And if I only stayed at the level this is only for me, I wouldn't even be on this planet, because I didn't have to come this way. So the thing is that you have this love for the expansion of creation. You come and you serve the spirit by being an offering for that. And for me, I wouldn't be, every realization that I had, it wouldn't be whole without me sharing it this way. It would always feel like something's missing, because that's what I'm choosing, and that's what I've chosen even before coming here, and I honor that and I value that. If I went against it, I would feel something. I'd feel contradiction, friction, crankiness, annoying, because I wouldn't be just perfectly attuned with what I'm choosing. And that's the only thing I'm saying. And partnerships are just reflections of you. So please know that anything you're doing or not doing and think you should be doing is not because you're doing something wrong, or, there's something you should be doing in truth that, it's just because you are supposed to be more in line with your soul and truly value what you've chosen, and to remember what you've chosen. I remember a while ago when my counterpart, as in my whole essence, came to me and it said to me, remember our purpose, just remember it, because it's true. When you do, everything is so much easier. You just have complete trust, and we don't always have to have after death experiences, or comatized experiences to remember. We can remember here in the physical, and to know that all we have to do is be true to ourselves. And those of you who really walk this path of spirit and this higher guidance, that's not always just what you do, it's things you're doing and creating on a much broader levels. Sometimes this path requires greater alignments, which means that because it's narrower, at the top, it gets very wide towards the bottom, which means it's very wide. Your purpose will be very wide, which means many factors will have to be considered. Many things are intertwined. They need to take place. It's all about divine timing. There's this great order behind things. It's not just you and the other person that's supposed to be your spirit partner, but the unity of everything you take with you together in your unified purpose that serves all life and creation, which is something so great we can't always see, with our human eyes, with our human brains. So like Spirit said to me today, you do things in terms of just ethereal presence and what you create within it that you can't see as a human always, but just trust. And when we trust, when we're in peace with that, things just happen. And remember, these factors, sometimes they need to take place. It's all for the greater good of ourselves, the other, and the whole at large when we're focused in service. So focus on divine service as always. Be true to yourself and embrace your path wholeheartedly. And that's it. That's what I really wanted to share in this video. I hope it helped you to gain a clearer perspective of what it really means to choose your rightful partnership in terms of who you are. And of course, everything is always about awareness, but if you want to go deeper, go into the mastery course on mastering polarity and twin soul essence, because it will get you to a clear understanding. So take care. I love you so much beyond words. I cannot express, but I hope you feel it somehow. And as always, so much love, wisdom, and power. Take care. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. So as for my personal experiences that I promised a bit to share, but I ran out of camera battery, so I only have a very short while. I only need to say one thing, which I think is the only thing really important here, is when you're in this path of spirit, people come and go because your priority will be yourself through spirit, and it's honoring that purification so you can be that pure vessel of spirit. And people will come and go. They will challenge you. Sometimes they'll help you to activate your spiritual gifts further. Sometimes they'll just give you companionship. Many times you trigger them as well. It's the souls who have chosen to somehow come into contact with you to be better aligned. And it's just very simple. The thing is always love. The things happen because of love, and love increases our potentiality to create. So when you're in this path, honor every person coming your path. None of them are in vain. Everything is intertwined. It's the only experience of mine that I think it's really important to share. There's much more, I think, but every being gives you an activation that further awakens yourself, so you can become the purest mirror, and then you attract and create that mirror in terms of your partnership as well. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoy this beautiful view and the water is not too loud, and I will talk to you next time in the next video topic.